folks. It is Wednesday, March 25th. This is the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. We got a jam-packed show for you. We have Alan Watt in the first hour. We'll be going to him after the first break, and then we're going to be doing a news blitz and taking your calls in the final hours. I do want to go over some of the things that we are going to be talking about later in the show. Mainly, Section 1710 of H.R. 1388, the GIVE Act, something that a lot of people aren't talking about. The study to evaluate the effectiveness of a centralized electronic citizen verification system. And they say this study is going to be done by, quote-unquote, the Corporation for National and Community Service and the Department of Education. They say that it's going to be funded from 2010 to 2014, so no worry there. They're going to be going before Congress no later than 18 months after this act is officially put into place. It has nothing to do with their little, volunteer Stasi force they're putting together, and everything to do with a cashless society control grid. I mean, you think the real ID is bad and, the national ID card. This is for your kids. All throughout this bill, it's for people who are in middle school and high school, and it's no different with this study of a centralized electronic citizen verification system. We're also going to be talking about how China put the kibosh on YouTube today. No more YouTube in China. And, on Alex's show, when I hosted, I think it was in May or June, we had Benjamin Fulford on. And talk about an apologist for China. I mean, he's telling me China's not that bad, China's this and that, and China's coming up, and we all know China held the Olympics there. But then he makes the case, what's so bad about a one-world government? Well, what do you think is so bad about a one-world government when they're in cahoots with China? I mean, to take away YouTube is such a hit on free humanity in general. I mean, that literally censors just an unbelievable amount of speech right there. But should we really be shocked? I mean, we have our Supreme Court ruling whether or not the new Hillary movie is going to be constitutional or not. And whether, I believe it was writing and publishing that writing, this is what Scalia said, was covered by the Constitution. Of course it's covered by the Constitution. It's constitutional right. First Amendment, freedom of speech, any kind of speech, whether it's written down or not. I mean, when I read that, it blew my mind. We're also going to be talking about this pamphlet or multiple pamphlets they're handing out. This is a story off of InfoWars.com and InfoWars.net, where the UK is trying to create even more of a tattletale society, saying, if you see any suspicious bags, we need you to report them, and don't stare at the cameras. If you stare at the cameras, you're automatically a terrorist. London police encourage citizens to report contents of each other's bins to prevent terrorism. And there's a bunch of visual aids here. It's pretty intense. I mean, terrorists won't succeed if someone reports suspicious activity. Terrorism, if you suspect it, report it. And I mean, they're showing cell phones, bags, vans, small camcorders, a flat screen for a computer. It is just out of control. So that's up at InfoWars and Prison Planet right now. Also want to talk about vaccine scare in Ukraine threatens health. Now, of course, this is off MSNBC, so they're spinning it, saying, well, a lot of people in the Ukraine don't want to take these Western vaccinations because they think that they're going to give them AIDS or they're going to sterilize them. Hello, we just had a death, and then I think it was 27 kids go to the hospital from your rubella vaccinations, and they mentioned the rubella vaccination, but the main theme of the article is the people in the Ukraine are bad because they're not getting vaccinated and they're putting us all at risk. No, the people in the Ukraine are waking up to the fact that they're being poisoned through vaccinations, so they're saying no, and that's what we should be doing. Alan Watt on the other side. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, PrisonPlanet.tv, InfoWars.com. I wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I wanna do is... FBI's most wanted list gets high-tech makeover out of Fox News, folks. We're going to do a little bit of a news blitz here, and then we're going to take your calls into the next segment. We'll do news blitzes, calls, 866-582-9933. This one's off Fox News. I just love this headline. It's so ridiculous, the first paragraph. If you've earned yourself a spot on the FBI's most wanted list, you have a lot more to worry about these days than seeing your picture in your or on the wall or at the local post office. The agency has begun to use some very cool high-tech tools to capture fugitives and find missing persons, too. See, they started off with if you're on the most wanted list, and then they're saying if you're a missing person. It's for everybody. Everybody. It has designed a interactive iPhone-looking posters that bloggers and MySpace and Facebook users can embed on their pages to showcase the bad guys. They're going digital here. It's more than, thumb scans, biometrics, iris scans. Sean Penn. Yeah. Is that Sean Penn at the upper right-hand corner? Oh, man. I got my producers pointing out. Yeah, well, you got Bin Laden, Sean Penn. They're trying to be kind of funny about it, but there's nothing funny about it at all. There are weekly podcasts, email alerts, and digital billboards posted across the country that have directly led to the capture of at least 70 fugitives. Here's my favorite part. Best of all, the high-tech crime fighting costs almost nothing, and that's a good thing since most of the agency's post-9/11 budget has been directed towards anti-terror operations. So now if you're a missing person, or you're on the FBI's most wanted list, you're automatically a terrorist in this post-9/11 world. You wonder why, almost 8 years later, I still harp on 9/11. I still say, we need to expose this truth. It's because they use it all the time as an excuse to surveil, track, and trace us. Surveil, track, and trace us. So, go check out the whole article. It's pretty disgusting. They're just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to use the iPhone, we're going to use the apps, we're going to use the Facebook, and we're just going to track and trace everybody. That's the deal. We want a big old database. And this, ties into a million other stories we've covered over at INFOWARRIOR.com. I alluded to this one. Vaccine scare in the Ukraine threatens health. Rumors of Western plot. Death of teen cause families to reject shots. Death of teen? How about death of many? All right? Give me a break. Hundreds of thousands of fearful Ukrainians have refused vaccines for diseases such as diphtheria, mumps, polio vaccine, caught with SV40 in it, hepatitis B, tuberculosis, whooping cough, and others this year, according to official estimates. Authorities have canceled a UN-backed measles and rubella vaccination campaign funded by U.S. philanthropist Ted Turner. Ted Turner, the guy who says we need to get rid of a bunch of these useless feeders. Do you understand? When a man says he wants to get rid of the useless feeders and he's offering to vaccinate millions of them, I wonder if there's an ulterior motive there. Unbelievable. In fact, can we get that, Jaron? A little Google of Ted Turner, useless feeders, please. I want people to know I'm not making this up. Listen, I know that, he started TNT and TBS, and they bought up TNN, and now it's the Spike Network. But as soon as AOL and Time Warner got together, he lost a bunch of money and a bunch of power. Doesn't mean he's not a raving lunatic that wants to kill people. Because that's what he wants to do. We're going to bring that up. Ted Turner, useless feeders, and he's the one supplying the vaccinations. Gee, I wonder if the Ukrainians, after that bird flu scare in the bird flu vaccine, are onto something. We're going to go to Don, Dan, John, Mark, and more. It's the Info Warrior with Jason Bermas, PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com. All right, folks. I Googled Ted Turner and useless feeders, and a bunch of the quotes came up, but I couldn't find the mainline article. But I'll show you something just as good, where Ted Turner talks about how overpopulation causes global warming, and this is going to create cannibals. Read in between the lines, folks. He's talking about overpopulation causing global warming, and it's going to turn us into cannibals. We got this thing going? We got audio for it? All right, give it away.
Will be catastrophic. We'll have 8 degrees. We'll be 8 degrees hotter in 30 or 40 years, and basically none of the crops will grow. Most of the people will have died, and the rest of us will be cannibals. Civilization will have broken down. What the few people who are left will be living in a failed state like Somalia or Sudan, and living conditions will be intolerable. The droughts will be so bad there'll be no more corn growing. Not doing it is suicide. just like dropping bombs on each other, nuclear weapons is suicide. So we've got to stop doing the two suicidal things, which are hanging on to our nuclear weapons
and global.
And then after that, we've got to stabilize the population. When I was born, there
so
were
what's wrong with the population? I mean,
with too many people. That's why we have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff. But if there were less people, they'd be using less stuff.
Are you listening to this, folks? I mean, give me a break. Read in between the lines. Do you even doubt that he made the useless feeders comment?